Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zidhan Khalid from regular C class 2020, International Relation Education Program, Muhammadiyah University of Yogyakarta. In this video, I will try to explain a little about the theory of truth. Among them are correspondence theory of truth, coherence theory of truth, and pragmatic theory of truth. Theory of truth in the perspective of philosophy of science. In the study of philosophy of science, the view of a truth is highly dependent on the philosophical and theoretical point of view on which it based. In testing a truth, theories or methods are needed that will serve as guide for the course of the test. Here are some theories about truth in the perspective of philosophy of science. Number one is correspondence theory. Correspondence theory of truth is a theory which holds that statements are true if they relate to existing fact. Truth or, truth or a situation is said to be true if there is a correspondence between the meaning meant by an opinion and the fact. A proposition or expression or decision is true if there is a fact that fits and states what it is. This theory is often associated with empirical theories of knowledge. This correspondence theory is generally adopted by followers of realism. Among the pioneers of the among the pioneers of this theory were Plato, Aristotle, Moore, and Ramsey. This theory was developed by Bertrand Russell. An example of correspondence theory is if a student say the sun rises from the east. Then the statement is true because the statement is factual, or according to the fact that the sun rises from the east and sets in the west. Okay, next, number two is coherence theory. Theory of truth of coherence. The figure is a theory. The figure of this theory is Spinoza, Hegel, and Bradley. A knowledge of is considered correct according to this theory is if a proposition has a relationship with the ideas of the previous proposition which is true. Thus, the truth of that knowledge that can be tested through historical event or through logical or mathematical proof. In general, the human science, social science, and logic science demand the truth of coherence. According to this theory, truth is not formed on the relationship between decision and fact or reality, but on the relationship between the decision themselves. In other words, the truth is upheld on the relationship between the new decision and other decision that we already know, and their truth is in advance. This theory assumes that a statement can be said to be true if the statement is coherent or consistent with previous statements which are considered true. For example, if we consider that the statement all animals will die is a true statement, then the statement that chickens are animals and chickens will die is also true because the second statement is consistent with the first statement. Okay, next, pragmatic theory. Theory was coined by Charles S. Peirce in a paper published in 18078 entitled How to Make Ideals Clear. This theory was later developed by several philosophers, most of whom were American, which caused this philosophy to be often associated with American philosophy. These philosophers include William James and John Dewey. A knowledge or proposition is considered true according to this theory is if the proposition has practical consequence. There are practical benefits as inherent in the statement itself. Then, according to this theory, there is no absolute universal independent truth and still. Truth is always changing, the dependent and can be corrected by the next practice. For the example, someone states if someone states theory X in education, then from that theory Y is developed to improve learning abilities, then theory X is considered correct because it is functional. Okay, that is my brief explanation of three theories of truth. Hopefully, it can add insight. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.